And yet, the billionaire in that first scenario and the single mom in the second scenario have something in common. You might imagine that both of them are humans. Of course, you're right. Both of them live in the same planet Earth, at least for now, that is. I know that some of the billionaires have been planning to shift to one of the other planets, but that's for the future. As of now, that they do have in common, they both live on planet Earth. But apart from that, they have another factor that is common. And that, my friend, is the venerable old Apple iPhone. Hello friends, welcome to another one of my videos. Today's video, as you would have seen in the title, is about a social phenomena of all things. A social phenomena that should have been blatantly obvious to all our social scientists from around the world, but somehow it seems that none of our esteemed social scientists have picked this phenomena up. Maybe they have moved on to something more sexy and not towards something which is blatantly obvious. But somehow someone had to bring it to you, and that privilege has come upon me, and I accept that with all my humility. Enough of my verbiage. Let's get down to the chase. To be honest, I have always been a big, massive fan of the Apple iPhone range of products. Ever since their inception, probably 17, 18 years ago, it never seems to surprise me. It never stops surprising me how effective their products are in the marketplace. Their product positioning, their product design, product marketing, and the product market fit is superb. It's second to none. And that's the reason Apple has been able to sell a product to a customer that costs them not much to manufacture. It's actually quite a cheap product to manufacture, but it fetches them a big price. And surprise, surprise, they're able to sell that product, which is quite expensive. It's definitely not cheap. It's quite expensive to a large volume of customers, almost in the mass market, especially around the developed countries in the world. Maybe not in the developing countries, but yeah, definitely in the developed countries. Admittedly, I have never been an Apple customer myself, having never owned an Apple product or bought an Apple product till this day. However, I must admit that I have been tempted multiple times to buy one of their products, but somehow I have enticed myself away from buying those products simply because of the fact that I found it quite weird that a massive corporation with immense social and customer power would have the power to dictate what I find cool and sexy and trendy. That's something that my fragile ego probably couldn't handle, and that might be the reason that I have resisted from buying any of the Apple products. They are masters of selling expensive products to the mass market, and they're second to none in terms of that in the global market. In fact, I cannot think of any other brand that has managed to do that at such a massive scale as Apple has done. And it's not a flash in the pan. They have been doing it for the last 17, 18 years. So they must be doing something right. However, my video today is not about their market success or the brilliance of their products. It's not about that. As I told you at the start of the video, it's about a social phenomena. It's not about a tech product or a product as such. Now, what is a social phenomena? Let me explain. I will present to you two scenarios. The first one is of a rich, uber rich billionaire, the likes of Elon Musk or Bill Gates or people of that sort. Expensive cars, expensive mansions, expensive luxury yachts, private jets and whatnot, luxury watches and all that small stuff. You can imagine what I'm talking about. Now, let me present to you the second scenario. Now I present to you a single mom that is feeding 7 kids all by herself, living in a rented flat with only one room. So 7, 8 people crammed into one room. She's really struggling to make, ends meet and feed her 7 kids. Her life is really difficult. She is dependent on one income. In a lot of these scenarios, she might not even have an income. She might be living on a social welfare benefit or a social welfare payment. So imagine how difficult her life is. And yet, the billionaire in that first scenario and the single mom in the second scenario have something in common. You might imagine that both of them are humans. Of course, you're right. Both of them live in the same planet Earth, at least for now, that is. I know that some of the billionaires have been planning to shift to one of the other planets, but that's for the future. As of now, that they do have in common, they both live on planet Earth. But apart from that, they have another factor that is common. And that, my friend, is the venerable old Apple iPhone. And that is the reason, my friend, I refer to the iPhone not as a product, definitely not a tech product, but as a social phenomena. A social phenomena that has the incredible power to equalize all social differences. Differences in money, differences in status, and whatnot. In fact, I cannot think of any other social phenomena in the 1,000 years of human history, maybe 2,000 years of human history, that has been as effective or as egalitarian as the Apple iPhone in equalizing the differences between the rich and the poor. Now, I know that a lot of my socialist comrade friends would like a more equal, more equitable world where the rich, the uber rich, are not out of touch with the common plebeian folks. How about I propose that we create or we build an Apple iPhone Owners Club, a club that would invite all its members to dinners and social get-togethers from time to time, and that would create the connect between the rich and the poor like nothing else has ever done. Now, a lot of my viewers would have a question, an obvious question in their minds. What's the reason that no one has really come up with a uber luxury, uber expensive smartphone to cater to these uber billionaires? Think about them from their perspective. They're having to use this plebeian old iPhone, the same one or the same model that a single mom with 7 kids is also using. So why do they not have a better option or a more expensive option to make it more exclusive for them? Because as you know, rich folks like exclusive things. They don't want mass market products. So what's compelling them in using a mass market product like an iPhone? At least in the Western world, mass market, I mean. Now, there are 2 reasons for it. The first reason is that of scale. The smartphone business is incredibly difficult to be competitive in. Product development costs are exorbitant. It's really expensive to come up with a new technology and to market that new technology and also to make it affordable so that you can price your product at a competitive level. And what that means is that because of that necessity of scale, probably more than any other industry in the world, even more than the automotive industry, the smartphone industry, the dynamics are such that even if you try to make an uber expensive phone, you might be able to use more expensive products or commodities, like you might be able to use genuine leather, you might be able to use gold or expensive metals, but to improve the technology compared to a high mass market product is incredibly difficult. A lot of players over the years have tried to differentiate themselves by creating uber luxury smartphones. I can think of a manufacturer called Virtu that used to be part of the Nokia empire back in the days, that tried to do something similar to create an ultra luxury phone, but just the dynamics and the challenges of the mass market and the challenges of the scale have been too much. So they have sort of gone into oblivion. So currently, I don't think billionaires have an option at the moment. What's the factor number 2? The factor number 2 relates more to that single mom that I talked about. Think of it from that single mom's perspective. There are a lot of luxuries that billionaire or that uber rich can afford. They can differentiate themselves by buying that super luxury car, that Ferrari. They can buy that mansion on the hilltop. They can buy that luxury yacht. They can have a crew of 50 people to manage that luxury yacht. They can own multiple luxury jets. But when it comes to smartphones, they have no other option but to go for that iPhone. And that iPhone, my friend, is something that my single mom example can probably afford by going into a payment plan. Buy now, pay later, pay in installments, raise the budget a little bit, maybe cut back on some other expenses, family expense. And lo and behold, they would be able to afford an iPhone. They would be able to use an iPhone, the same iPhone model that the billionaire is also using at some other part of the town, more expensive part of the town. Isn't that a superpower? Isn't that something that gives you that feeling of richness, that feeling of empowerment like nothing else? At least for smartphones, I can match this uber rich pigs. That's a super enlightening, super empowering feeling to have for a single mom. And that's the second factor why iPhone sells so well, not only to the rich, but also to the relatively poor amongst us. So enjoy it while you can, my plebeian friends, people like us. Enjoy it while you can. You never know. In a few years, once these super rich billionaires shift to another planet other than the world or the earth, they might be forced to use the same iPhone as you and I do. Maybe in that other planet, they might have a different technology for mobile networks, and then that might enable them to use something different. But at least for now, we're stuck with the same old phone. So enjoy it while you can. Please put down your comments if you agree to me or if you disagree to me or what you think about it. Please do let me know in the comment section. I would continue to bring such videos to you, to bring my perspective into things that have not been explored as much, so that we can all pause for a second and have that opportunity to think about them. Just keep watching my videos. Please support me. I look forward to see you in my next video. Thank you for now.